Anyway, let's get to Texas Democratic legislators flee the state to protest GOP's redistricting plan. They are avoiding the state because they don't want to get arrested or forcibly brought back into Congress so that they have quorum so that they cannot push forward with this redistricting plan.
And with something that's not so fun, depending on your point of view. It's a showdown that could have a big impact on democracy in this country. In Texas, the Republicans want to withdraw the political map in a way that could help them win additional seats. So in response, Democratic lawmakers have just fled the state. Last night, they gathered in Illinois, where they called the move a power grab by President Trump. And now Republican leaders are threatening to expel and arrest them if they do not come back. Ed O'Keefe is in St. Charles, Illinois. Ed, good morning. Things getting very dicey in Texas today.
Texas and now here in Illinois as well, Gail. Good morning. At least 51 Texas House Democrats left their home state last night, came to this lovely Illinois town in order to block a Republican-written congressional map that was set to pass the state house later today. The Republican governor, Greg Abbott, is threatening to expel these legislators for not showing up for work if they don't today. The Republican attorney general is threatening to arrest them. They could face big fines, but so far, these Democrats are defiant.
We are here to fight for the millions of Texans who don't want Trump's Texas takeover.
Dozens of Texas House Democrats are now in the Chicago suburbs, leaving their state behind and disrupting plans to vote on a new Republican-drawn map to reshape congressional power in the Lone Star State.
We're not here to play political games. We're here to demand an end to this corrupt process.
President Trump has directed Texas Republicans redraw their map.
On Texas, how many more seats do you want the Republicans to draw?
5.
In hopes of avoiding the losses that usually happen to a president's party in midterm elections. Right now, Texas Republicans hold 25 of the state's 38 seats in the House of Representatives, but the redrawn map would give the GOP an advantage in at least 5 more seats. Down in West Dallas,
Mark Vesey, your congressman.
I know.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I know that face.
Yes. Yeah.
Texas Democratic Congressman Mark Vesey is a familiar face at this community center in a neighborhood he's represented for a dozen years.
I'm really concerned that they may be left with representation that does not reflect the values and the political beliefs and desires of the people that live in these neighborhoods.
Vesey now wants Democrats in other states like California and Illinois to redraw their maps.
Absolutely, I have no issues with that.
What you're saying is it's time for Democrats to fight fire with fire.
Absolutely, you have to match Trump's energy. If you don't match Trump's energy, you get run over.
Yeah, Texas Dems just broke quorum 30 minutes ago, and House GOP has voted for arrest. So basically, if there's no quorum, they can't push in the state legislature this new redistricting map. Obviously, they described it already. That's why the Democrats escaped the state. They left the state so that they're absentee and that the state legislature can't have quorum. And now they're possibly going to get apprehended. Can they arrest though? Why arrest? Because it's like you can vote to force to have them come back. But I assume Trump will go along with it because this is his agenda. It's ironic because like what Trump is doing and the Texas Republicans are doing to begin with is like completely fraudulent. And the only counter that I've seen is from like, I hate to give him credit for this, but it's Gavin Newsom who said, okay, well, I have enough votes to redistrict California to farm as many seats as I possibly want. And he's right. Yeah, it's really, really illegal. I mean, is it though? What is really illegal now? Legality is determined by enforcement, okay? Legality is determined by political willing. Illegal and legal is a meaningless term at this point. Under the second Trump administration, what's legal is whatever the Trump wants, and what's illegal is whatever the Trump doesn't want. When you think about it, legality is fluid now, so woke. Yeah. I'm in favor of fighting fire with fire because there's not really anything you can do about it. Like, what are you supposed to do? This, of course, is a worse representation overall for districts that have a lot of black and brown Democrat voters, districts that have a lot of black and brown people in general. Because redistricting for the Republican side is almost always conducted on neighborhoods that have black people, like just separating areas where there is like a big population of black people into other white majority neighborhoods in an effort to make sure that you have more Republican seats, like easy Republican locks. And Texas already has a ton of redistricting, by the way. There's not a single, I mean, a lot of Democrats do it too, is the counter usually. Like, oh, well, Democrats do redistricting as well. But it's like, it's nothing in comparison to the amount of gerrymandering that the Republican Party has done all around the country. There are states in this nation where Democrats can win the majority vote. It's like a little, it's basically like a little electoral college in each individual state. Okay. There are states where Democrats win the majority by like a big margin, and then Republicans still maintain majority, like in Wisconsin. Democrats win the majority vote, but because of the way that the district lines are drawn in the state of Wisconsin, they still have majority in the House and the Senate, like state legislature. It's crazy. But what's interesting about this is that given that the population centers are urban, and because of the diverse environment in population centers, heavily leaning in the direction of Democrats, if Democrats wanted to, there are far more areas that they could chop up to fight against this, in like blue states, in blue neighborhoods, and just like straight up redistrict it as aggressively as possible. Except they probably won't do that. Even in a bad year for CA Dems, you can create a 52D 0R map with no seat being less than Harris plus 10. Would probably eliminate 9 Republicans. If you're willing to create 1-2 GOP vote sinks, you can create a map with no seat less than Harris plus 14. It's true. If the Republicans want to carve out 5 additional seats for themselves, then Democrats can carve out 10. Okay? Now, he threw the eye emoji on this, but again, you're right. He's a fake demon. He should do this. YOLO. Fight fire with fire, baby. Come on. Be the gruesome governor that you are, okay? Political HQ says breaking. California's proposed congressional maps are almost ready and were discussed during a Zoom call last night with state and federal legislators. Look, man, I'm done. I'm done with the whole like, oh, if we do it, Republicans are going to do it too. It's like Republicans are doing it and they never stop doing it. So you might as well do it anyway. That's why I was a big advocate for packing the courts when Joe Brandon was in charge and abolishing the 9-person Supreme Court, or at least like adding additional courts to the Supreme Court, adding additional justices to the Supreme Court. Oh, well, Republicans will then add more. Okay, have 1 million Supreme Court justices. I don't care. Just win and also enact an agenda. That's what the Republicans do. They don't care. They the board every time. They say the rules. I'm just going to get I am just going to do what I said I was going to do, and I guess do right by my constituents. Ironically enough, when their legislative agenda bears itself out, it's always negative, and the voters themselves experience the backlash. They don't like it when it's implemented. They love it when they're voting for it. They hate it when it's implemented in their neighborhood. But like, for me, I just don't care if they're breaking the rules all the time anyway, in the direction of change for their own legislative agenda, for their own policies. Then Democrats should do the same. It's so dumb. Because the inverse of that is the Democrats don't do anything, and then the Republicans literally just rewrite the rules every day. It's trickier in California because they can't pass them with the state legislature like in Texas. It needs to be approved by an independent commission. Newsom's threat seems a bit empty. He said he could get it via referendum, but I don't know if that will work out. I think it would. I think it would actually give him great popularity among as a national Democratic figure too. Gavin Newsom's major problem in California is public transit and the housing market. If Gavin Newsom solved the housing market issue, that is literally like 90% of all the enmity directed towards him, all the animosity directed towards him, for good reason, by the way. Hasan silently wanting Newsom to be prez. No, I despise him. I think he's a demon. He sucks. Okay? For what I just described to you. Gavin Newsom is decent when it comes to like rehabilitative, sticking his neck out for rehabilitative approaches to criminal justice, even though California still has a very long way to go. But Gavin Newsom is dog shit when it comes to offering healthcare, zero-cost healthcare to Californians. Gavin Newsom is dog shit when it comes to, most importantly, the housing market. He is completely beholden to real estate developers and homeowners associations and like landlords in general, and refuses to increase the housing supply as is necessary and take initiative on this issue, which creates a ton of homeless people, which then translates back to people thinking that there's crime that's out of control in the state.
Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott says the new map is necessary to address constitutional concerns raised by the Justice Department. But critics across the state call it a power grab. Thousands showed up at field hearings across the state in recent days, some driving hours to be heard.
You drove how many hours?
4 hours.
To come and speak tonight?
Yes.
That's how much this bothers you?
Yes.
That's an average drive in Texas, though, low-key. Like I'm proud of that man's accomplishments, but like that's just Texas, you know. That's like going to the nearest Walmart or the nearest hospital. Says the LA guy, bro. Texas is the one place that is so large by landmass that like sometimes you got to do a 4-hour commute. You know, it is what it is.
Now, in a statement overnight, the Texas Republican Party calls the Democrats, quote, stunt to cut quorum, nothing more than a transparent attempt to weaponize chaos and rewrite reality. While Texas...
Yeah, but what you guys are doing, which is a transparent attempt to change, to go against the democratic process and to just basically openly, at the direction of Trump, an unpopular president, try to create more seats for Donald Trump, knowing full well that you're going to get clobbered potentially. They might not even get clobbered in the midterms, and try to use what remains of your power to basically to redraw district lines so you can just farm out more seats for your party. That's not chaotic. That's not illegal. It's illegal when the Democrats are like using the only option in the state, using the only option they have to try and delay this process.
Republicans are working to ensure fair and lawful redistricting that reflects the will of Texans, the Republicans say. Democrats are choosing obstruction over representation.
Hasan, you are delusional if you think Californian crime isn't out of control. Hasan, the #1 terrorist glazer. Do you live here? Bismarck II? Do you even live in America? It's so funny because living in Idaho will be like, bro, you don't understand. Your backyard, people are getting shot every day. You don't understand, dude. You're stupid. You just love terrorism and you love crime. I know it. And the crime, I know is happening. I know is happening. I saw it on TV. I saw it on YouTube. Lol, you do? Yes. I live here. You don't. But I'm actually enjoying all the crime happening all around me. Thank you. This seems like a reasonable argument to make. You've really bested me in the marketplace of ideas. Like, what do you say to a guy like that? He's like, listen, I live in Idaho and I know. I know up over there, okay? I saw it on TV. I know she's up over there. You understand me?
Denying voters their voice to score political headlines. Nate, this has kicked up something down in Texas we've never quite seen before.
No doubt. Everything's bigger in Texas, and even the drama. Ed, thank you.
All right, dozens of Texas Democrats leaving the state, making a last-ditch effort to block Republican plans to redraw the state's election map. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, flanked by Texas House Democrats, said this just moments ago.
This is not breaking the law. This is a legitimate process that has been used before. By breaking quorum and being here today, these legislators are getting into what John Lewis might call good trouble. Good trouble is the best kind of trouble. They've drawn racist lines to disenfranchise millions of Texans.
And Texas Governor Greg Abbott joins us now. Thank you so much. Can you tell us from your perspective, what is the issue? Why did they leave?
So they're leaving and they've left because they're very un-Texan. Texans don't run from a fight. And there's a fight going on in the legislature right now about redistricting as well as other things. But I'll make two quick points, Dana, about this. For one, to run to states like New York and Illinois to protest redistricting is kind of like running to Wisconsin to protest cheese. It's just kind of outrageous. Those are New York and Illinois are two hallmark states that have already done redistricting to eliminate Republicans. But the second thing is far more serious, and that is what these Democrats have done.
Yeah, Greg Abbott can't run from a fight. He's the wheel away.
Just a small fraction of them were needed to break a quorum, and that small fraction is holding hostage legislation in the state of Texas where we will be able to provide assistance and reform for all of the victims of that horrific flooding that we've had in the state of Texas. Our fellow Texans are being let down and not getting the flood relief they need because these Democrats have absconded from the responsibility, and I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected.
Yeah. Be like our beautiful congresspersons. Run away when there's a natural disaster taking place. Why are you deliberately escaping the state so we can't arrest you and apprehend you and force you back to sit there and implement quorum so we can draw redistricting lines? Why don't you just flee the state like our good old boys, Theodore Edward Raphael Cruz? Whenever there's a natural disaster happening, okay? That's what you're supposed to do. That's the Texan way.
To do.
Governor, let me show everybody here what you were talking about. I think we have this map of Illinois and the districts as they've been drawn. And as you point out, it's been over and over again. They make these small little squiggly lines to make sure that they can figure out the best way to get Democrats there. So that's an example of what you were talking about. I want to play for you this sound from State Representative Gene Wu. He's a Democrat from Texas. Here's what he said.
The tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map. A map that seeks to use racial lines to divide hard-working communities. And Governor Abbott is doing this in submission to Donald Trump so that Donald Trump could steal these communities.
As an example, Dallas County has itself 3 out of its 6 congressional districts represented by GOP, despite Dallas County voting 60% and above for Democrat POTUS nominee and overwhelming voting Democrat for other offices. I mean, look at, Dan Crenshaw's district, if you want to understand how psychotic redistricting already is in the state of Texas.
Power and voice.
I have 2 main questions. How do you respond to his accusation that you're using a racist tool to do this? And the second question I have, if you could wrap it into this answer, is why now? Why do you need to do this in the middle of this session?
Sure. So what he just said is totally bogus. First, for redistricting purposes, it's not done for racial reasons. However, the racial outcome is this, and that is the district lines will solidify the Barbara Jordan African-American district in the Houston area, and it will add 4.
You know what's really funny about this, by the way? Yeah, like you look at this stuff and you're like, well, look at the current Texas districts, and it's like the little blue dots there are some of the areas with the highest density of population. So, like, obviously, when you look at a map like this, you're like, whoa, wow, Texas seems real red. And it's like, yeah, there's like 11 people living here, okay? Like, there's not a lot going on in many of these big swaths of land.
4 new Hispanic districts. And so there's actually going to be more racial minority districts in the state of Texas. Why now? 2 reasons. One is since
we want more seats.
we last did redistricting, there's been a change in law.
We also don't want black people to get across their wishes. That's it. Simply put, we are hateful people. We do not like black people being able to have their wishes and have their concerns be addressed by representatives. And let me tell you why. the state of Texas, have you ever heard of Juneteenth? Okay. We have a proud tradition of refusing to allow black people to be free. That's why Juneteenth happened. It happened in my state. Long, proud tradition of slavers coming here and refusing to recognize that slavery had been abolished. Okay? We're not too fond of letting people get any kind of representation whatsoever.
A court decision affecting Texas came out and said that coalition districts are no longer required, and it's perfectly legal to dismantle coalition districts. The second is gerrymandering can be done, or drawing lines can be done, on the basis of political makeup.
Oh, great.
As in Republican versus Democrat, and there's nothing illegal about that. And then when you look at the outcome of the most recent president.
Why is he trying to even defend this? I mean, honestly, you're not wrong for asking that question. Like, who is this for is the real question. Like, you're on Fox News, bro. They know why you're doing it, and they like it. You know what I mean? But I guess they are admitting it, kind of. Yeah, he's just openly saying that they're gerrymandering and trying to make sure for political purposes we want more power. Who doesn't like power? What power specifically? Okay? The kind of power I'm talking about.
Presidential election, all these districts that are being added are.
Well, Dana, it's because we're racist. That's why. We don't want any sort of proportional representation to take place in this goddamn state. And we don't like demon rats. Okay? They're bad. They want to make sure that, they want homosexuality. They want abortion. They want abortions galore. They want free health care. That's communism. And worst of all, some of these demon rats, let me tell you, and I hate to say this as a Texan man who obviously puts America first, some of them want to do away with the loyalty pledges to the state of Israel. Have you heard? They want to do away. That's anti-Semitism.